Tony Gonsolin returns for the Dodgers. And by the way, I also want to give you a big reason not to panic over the Rams' loss last night. And despite all the changes for a lot of teams, I think I know why. It's not the Chargers, but it's still Kansas City in the AFC West. Good morning, I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelinos. I'm in a terrific mood. I am back home with the wife. It is October 4th, 2022. We added a couple of new subscribers yesterday. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. If you like the content that we put out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comment. I'm not perfect, and I hope these takes are somewhat interesting. Now, before we go through the news and notes from around LA, take a quick look at the scoreboard. We have a rapid recap of last night's debacle up in San Francisco. The Niners beat the Rams 24-9. If you look on the Rams playlist, I go into a lot of detail as to what went down, but we also have more details that we'll add in a moment. Check out both. Also, Tony Gonsolin has returned. We will talk about that. The Rockies wound up getting a 2-1 victory over the Dodgers last night. The important thing is how Gonsolin did. And as for tonight, Colorado's playing at the Dodgers tonight. That's Julio Urias, 17-7. Ryan Feltner for Colorado, 3-9. Tony Gonsolin was everything for the Dodgers for a massive chunk of the year. And then, of course, he had a forearm problem, and he's been shut down since August 23rd. This is his only chance to show the Dodgers that he's got enough health recovered so that he can make an impact on the postseason roster. So they were looking for him to pitch 3 innings. He only gave him 2. So he gave him a solid first inning, but in the second one, he wound up throwing 40 pitches. And this was not lost on both Gonsolin and manager Dave Roberts. Quote, comes down to executing pitches, and I felt like I didn't do a great job of that, said Gonsolin. Now, having said that, the Dodgers are still strongly considering using him during the postseason. It's just not set in stone. They have one more chance before the Dodgers pick up in the postseason. They'll have him pitch a simulated game on Saturday. If he's okay health-wise, he's going. The reason I bring this up is the plan for Gonsolin is apparently to pitch only 4 innings per outing in the postseason. Just like they have that same plan, possibly, for Andrew Heaney. My thinking, which could be wrong, it's just a guess, is that you have a rotation of Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw, Tyler Anderson, and then try to cobble together at least 7 innings out of a combination of Gonsolin and Andrew Heaney. It's a guess. I'm not saying I have any inside dope, but I think my guess is on point. Also, regarding who may or may not be playing in the postseason, we still don't know if multi-positional stud Chris Taylor will be a go. He injured his neck. They're basically saying nothing. We don't know. And Blake Trinan's bullpen session was quote-unquote productive. What does that mean? Don't know. So there's still some question marks for the Dodgers about putting their best possible roster out there for the postseason. Now, last night was not a good night for the Rams. And the thing with the NFL is because you're only playing once a week, there's a tendency to overreact to each and every game that's played. Your team wins, oh my God, we are Greek gods on the gridiron. You lose, we're total trash. I don't want to go there. I try to break things down and try to find reasons for reasons for trends. And we're going to get to that with the Chargers in a moment. But let's talk the Rams first. I believe that the reason that the Rams had so much difficulty scoring last night is that they were down to their third string center. If you think back, and I always recite this, but if you think back to the last time the Raiders were in the Super Bowl, they had an offense that was absolutely dominant. And then what happened the night before the game? Starting center Barrett Robbins got arrested. So they had to go to a backup center to play the best defense in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tampa Bay just steamrolled them because they knew how to blitz. And the backup center, whoever that poor fellow was, didn't know how to call a proper blocking scheme. Your center calls the blocking scheme to keep your quarterback upright. So now you're down to the third string guy going up against a San Francisco top four, which is frankly elite. Is it any wonder that Matthew Stafford got sacked 7 times? Now, Brian Allen didn't play at all in the game. He got injured in the second week of the season. Coleman Shelton started the year as a guard. He shifted to center to replace Allen, and then last night he had an ankle injury. So you're down to this fellow named Jeremiah Colon against an elite pass rush? It's not happening. So you might say, okay, well, James, when is Allen coming back? Because that might solve a lot of problems. When he was originally injured, and it was a knee problem, the Rams said he's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. Last night was week 3. So is it possible that he could play against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday? Yes. But it's still week 4. So we don't know the answer yet. The Rams aren't saying. What I will say is this. If it's not Allen, and if it's not Shelton, if it's still Cologne, Dallas has a major advantage to win. So just want to give you that up front. Did you watch last night and see the fan who got blasted for running onto the field? Yeah. I was happy that he got blasted, frankly. I don't like it when people do this. But he and this other chick, they posted a photo on a social media website. See, they were both hard left protesters. One chick, one dude. The chick threw a flare on the field, got arrested. And they both posted a social media pic proudly holding up their tickets after the game. So proud of themselves, so proud. And here's the thing. It's not really the protest that bothers me. It's being proud of a ticket. A traffic ticket. Something that you would get for texting while driving. And you think that makes you a badass, right? You guys are not in Selma, Alabama, facing the water cannons alongside Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? You're not a freedom fighter. You're holding a traffic ticket wearing a pink shirt. You're holding something that you would get for an illegal lane change. You don't impress me, okay? Neither does your cause. If you want to impress me for something you believe in, do hard time. Do hard time. Be a badass. Come out with a neck tattoo, not because it's body art, but because your cellmate said, if you don't get this tattoo, I'm going to cut you when you sleep. That would impress me. Tell me who your cellie is who was able to protect you from wearing the Kool-Aid on your lips. That would impress me. But don't sit there and act like, oh, I got a traffic ticket, and don't tell me that that's impressive for your cause. Not a chance. You and your cause don't mean squat to me. Stay off the football field unless you're willing to do hard time. That felt good. Now, I mentioned last week that I wanted to give a quick review of the AFC West now that we're 4 weeks in, okay? Because all of these teams, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, they made all of these drastic changes in this quest to take down the hated Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs are still on top of the division. And I think that there's a rationale for it. I believe that it's not just the Chargers' injuries that are holding them down. I think the reason that the Kansas City Chiefs are on top is because of the connection between head coach and quarterback to bring the vision of the team to light on the football field. What I mean is, do the head coach and the quarterback click? And there is no question that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes click. I get it. Some of you might say, well, didn't Mahomes complain to offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy a couple of weeks ago? Yes, he did. Bieniemy doesn't call the plays. Everybody knows it. That's Andy Reid's offense. Then you look at the other teams in the AFC West. Look at the Raiders. First-year coach Josh McDaniels with Derek Carr. Didn't really look until on Sunday's game that the Raiders had enough continuity. And this has been something that's plagued Derek Carr throughout his career. Once Al Davis died, everybody who takes over the Raiders tears the entire team down. Reggie McKenzie tore the team down in front of Derek Carr. The Raiders stunk for years. Then John Gruden came in, tore the team down again. Raiders stunk for a couple of years. And then what happens when Josh McDaniels comes in, tears the team down, and just keeps Derek Carr? Is there any question that there is a disconnect, at least for now, between Josh Daniels and Derek Carr? And then you look at the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos, they hired Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers. This is my take. I believe that the Broncos did that because they were convinced that they were going to get Aaron Rodgers and immediately have that synergy that the Kansas City Chiefs had. But that didn't happen. Aaron Rodgers stayed in Green Bay. So what did Denver do? They blew up the farm. They sent as many people as they could away to go bring in Russell Wilson. But here's the problem. Russell Wilson has spent his entire career running Seattle's offense, not Green Bay's. They are not on the same page. They are not on the same page. And then, of course, with the Chargers, look, it's not that the Chargers suck. But do you ever look at the Chargers and you sit there and go on the offensive side of the ball and you say, what the hell are they doing? Why didn't Austin Eckler get a touchdown until week 4 when the guy had 20 last year? Why isn't there an alternative when Keenan Allen went down? To me, and I'm not saying that the Chargers can't, quote unquote, turn it around, but I'm saying to you that there is a disconnect between the coaching staff and the quarterback. Whereas in Kansas City, it's synergy. And I believe that's the reason that the Chargers are where they are right now. Could it be solved? Absolutely. But we can't deny what the Chiefs have. The Trojans have landed their first 4-star offensive lineman recruit since 2019. Welcome to the Trojan family, Elijah Page, who decommitted from Notre Dame to come to SC. Now, if you recall, before the season, people were concerned about the near future of the offensive line because, after all, the offensive line now is pretty thin and they didn't have a lot of commitments. That's not true anymore. The offensive class of 2022 is up to 5 offensive linemen. And Page is the crown jewel. He will come from Pinnacle High School in Phoenix, Arizona. By the way, I will say this, special teams is a problem for the Trojans right now. They rank 100th in the entire nation in terms of kick return yardage allowed. The other team is getting themselves a head start when they return the ball against the Trojans. Let's talk, though, for a half second while I'm trying to get through all this stuff about both USC and UCLA. Let's admit when they go to the Big Ten that Ohio State playing them is a problem. I think that's fair. But the Big Ten, they're split into 2 divisions. The West includes Wisconsin, which just fired their coach, Nebraska, likewise. And now you're looking at Iowa, which I don't even think they know how to run an offensive play, Minnesota, Illinois, Northwestern, and Purdue. Those are terrible teams. USC and UCLA are in a good position when they move to the Big Ten West. Dennis Schrader is expected to join the Lakers this week. Big whoop. And by the way, everybody right now for both the Lakers and the Clippers are making happy talk. The Lakers' big 3 claims to be happy. Kawhi Leonard claims to be happy that he's playing again. Happy, happy, joy, joy, whatever, whatever. I had some notes on a couple of other teams, but honestly, they're not groundbreaking, so I'm going to hold off on those until tomorrow. But if you like the content that we put out, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We talk LA sports here. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelinos is a Corte El Queso production. Take care.